The White House just announced a diplomatic boycott of the upcoming Winter Games in China. Again, this is a diplomatic boycott, not a full boycott. That means no U.S. government officials will attend the Games in Beijing, but U.S. athletes can still participate. The U.S. is accusing China of committing genocide against Uyghur Muslims and other human rights abuses, both in China and Hong Kong. Now, China said earlier that it would retaliate if the U.S. made this move. Let's bring in Gordon Chang. He's the columnist for Newsweek and the author of the book, The Coming Collapse of China. Gordon, China's threatening retaliation, what does that look like, or is it simply a bluff?
We don't know what it would look like, Anna. China has threatened similar measures in the past and not carried through. This time, though, is different. I think Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler, will actually impose some sort of costs on the U.S. But because China needs the U.S. now much more than we need them, these measures are not going to be substantial. Got to remember that China is going through some really severe crises right now, especially the debt matter. And so I'm sure Chinese leaders don't feel very secure.
Do you think this is the right move by the Biden administration? Does a diplomatic boycott send a strong enough message?
I think that it's a step in the right direction. It has to occur. But I also think that we should be trying to get the International Olympic Committee to move the games. And that's a number of reasons. First of all, there's a question about the safety of athletes. With the disappearance of Peng Shuai, the tennis star, there's a real concern that athletes going to China will not be safe. But also, of course, as you mentioned, there's the issue of China committing genocide. And the 1948 Genocide Convention actually requires us to prevent and punish acts of genocide. And one can interpret that as a move, that we should be boycotting the games at full stop.
We know that China said there will be countermeasures. What's the response that we're getting from China overall to this?
Yeah, a spokesman for the Foreign Ministry's office saying there would be resolute countermeasures attacking the U.S. action that they knew was coming, calling it sensationalist and politically manipulative. I think the real question now is what those measures may look like at this point in time. But U.S. officials making very clear they're not backing down. And according to White House press secretary, it was just clearly the right action in their view. Take a listen.
U.S. diplomatic or official representation would treat these games as business as usual in the face of the PRC's egregious human rights abuses and atrocities in Xinjiang, and we simply can't do that. As the president has told President Xi, standing up for human rights is in the DNA of Americans. We have a fundamental commitment to promoting human rights, and we feel strongly in our position, and we will continue to take actions to advance human rights in China and beyond.
Now, you guys laid out an important distinction. This is just diplomats. This is not athletes. This is not 1980. The real question now going forward is, will any other U.S. allies join them in this effort? There have been a lot of discussions behind the scenes about something like that. So far, it's just the U.S., but the U.S. making very clear they're not backing off this move that they finally announced publicly today, guys.